But of course, Cherem, that's the real draw of this matchup. Cherem is pretty much uninhibited by anything this matchup, so it's just going to be on the field, constantly providing that support in Flower Gift. So I would expect something like Yveltal to do a number on Nick's Pokemon, especially with that Snarl. And it can get unbelievably bulky if you give it the Flower Gift support, and, you know, it's already got a pretty sizable attack stat, so it can do some major damage if that Cherem hits the field. So I would expect that to be happening. Stakataka also in a pretty good position. I think we saw earlier that it was the safety goggles set, or someone's with safety goggles. I'm not sure if it was Nick Sefranek actually. But he is here with Stakataka as the option to deal with Xerneas, as well as, you know, stop Presses Blades from Groudon, Heat Wave from Heatran, etc., etc. So there's going to be a lot of important Pokemon in Nick's matchup. Pretty much all his Pokemon can do some sort of work against Nick's team, Navarre's team. So it really depends on how these players are going to work it out. But I think definitely for Sefranek, he's going to have to bring that Cherem. He needs to find a way to put more damage out when Nails or Navarre is setting up the Xerneas. Alright, so they're going to start right away. We're getting right into it. I think the time is 3:40 p.m. On this wonderful Sunday afternoon. And it does look a little difficult for Nick, barring the, or Nick Sefranek, barring the Stakataka here, with Yveltal being traditionally weak and losing matchup versus Xerneas, but can always pull it out. You know, the Yveltal does have Snarl, and, you know, there is a Feeny on the other side, probably packing Haze, so quite a bit of, you know, options for Sefranek to overcome the Xerneas matchup here. Yes, Nick Sefranek was the first seed, and he ended up playing 8th seed, which is Nick Navarre, and they are going to be playing for top 4 moving on in the tournament. So if you guys hear any other sounds from my microphone, it is probably because there's the Super Mario Party setup still next to me, so please forgive that if you overhear it, but just know it is very heated over there as well. So going into this, you got Nick Sefranek versus Nick Navarre. I will be referring to them collectively as the Knicks, but separately as probably Nails. That's probably the easiest to go with. So I'll call Nick Navarre Nails, and we'll call Nick Sefranek Sefranek. Okay? Just making sure we all know, so I don't screw myself up with Knicks. Alright, so Nails is going to lead Venusaur and Groudon into Sefranek's Groudon and Incineroar. So both Groudons coming out, but Sefranek is going to get that jump with the Intimidate onto Nails' Groudon. And meanwhile, Venusaur is going to be out here starting to spread some sleep powders, maybe. Of course, Fake Out from Incineroar, very, very crucial here. Can stop the Venusaur from sleep powdering, but it can't stop both Pokemon from doing damage. And, you know, I saw the Groudon on Nails' side get a KO on Incineroar before with Presses Blade, so I wouldn't be surprised if it did it again, even at -1 here. So both players are going to have to play pretty carefully this first turn to see who wants to take the early advantage in the set. Alright, Fake Out coming out. Who's it hitting? It's going to hit that Venusaur. So no Sleep Powder this time. And Nails' Groudon's going to move first. Throw out that Presses Blades. Nice early damage. Potential knockout onto Incineroar. Not quite, actually. So that's going to prop that Berry. And Sefranek's Incineroar going to go back up to about 60% of his health. That's pretty healthy, but definitely not enough to take another Presses Blades. So he's going to have to switch it out or do something on that. And Swords Dance coming out for Sefranek. Very interesting play. Not attacking the Venusaur, so letting it stay in, letting it have another turn to Sleep Powder, possibly. And, you know, yeah, so I think Incineroar is in a pretty terrible position. There's not much he can do to even switch out. Maybe go into, like, Cherem or something, but, you know, that's a risk of being Sleep Powdered by the Venusaur, and that's not good at all. You definitely don't want that to happen. So this could be pretty dicey for Sefranek, and Nails is in a pretty decent position where he can just throw off some more Press's Blades and get some more damage on the board. Even if Cherem switches in, you can have a Fire Punch ready for the following turns. And Sun boosted, of course, so maybe get enough for the knockout. Alright, so Incineroar is going to go out. It is going to be the Tapu Fini. So, yeah, going to stop Sleep Powder from going off. That is an option here. So, Nails is not going to be able to get down the Sleep Powder, but it is going to be able to get down a Grass Knot if it chooses to. But Protect from Groudon, going to protect itself. Smart choice by Sefranek. There's the Grass Knot. Nails obviously covered for that option of the Fini switching in. Press's Blade's going to drop down again and hits the... No, it doesn't. Doesn't connect at all. So that's like maybe the 12th or 11th one so far, if you've been keeping track at home. We're trying to see how high we can get here. So we're basically back at a decent board position for both sides. Nails definitely has the upper hand with Grass Knot being able to target that Groudon for heavy damage, but again, you know, there is some risk involved in that. If you miss your Press's Blades or somehow the Grass Knot doesn't pick up the KO, then, you know, Sefranek has that +2 Swords Dance ready to go and can definitely do some massive damage versus both these Pokemon. I wouldn't actually be surprised if Sefranek swapped out his Fini for Cherem this turn to take the Grass Knot, hope for a Press's Blades miss, and then go for his own Press's Blades. Of course, that is a very, very risky play. I think he is going to have to go ahead and do it. I think that's Cherem. It is that Cherem, so you already see some very, very wholesome, happy cherry blossom. There he is. So, Cherem out on the field. That means +1 special defense and attack for this Groudon. Grass Knot really not doing a whole lot, and that is enough to proc the berry. So, that means that this Groudon's definitely healthy enough to throw out the Press's Blades this turn, barring a crit on Sefranek's Groudon, and here it comes. That was pretty weak, so we're going to see a Press's Blades of his own, powered up by the Swords Dance, by the Flower Gift. This is going to hurt. Yikes. So, 2 downs on Nails' side, and he's locked to his last 2 Pokemon. Cherem showing why Flower Gift is so good in the sun, giving them a good power boost, good special defense boost, and, you know, it's got a couple of other support options too. Does learn Heal Pulse, so it could keep the Groudon healthy if so desires. Here is Incineroar coming in for Nails, and Heatran, so this is not looking too great. He's got 2 fire types facing down, 1 very strong, very angry dinosaur. And of course, you know, the Cherry Blossom, just sitting there. He does have Fake Out option available, so Groudon can't just safely do it, throw out the move just yet, and, you know, Cherem definitely in danger from all these fire types. That's why he's relying on Groudon to help him out. But, you know, it's definitely not looking too great for Nails over here. I think if Heatran can outspeed the Groudon, he might be in an okay position, but, you know, with that special defense boost, it might not be as useful. And here comes Tapu Fini one more time to replace the Cherem. I would expect Protect here. Yep. So Protect from Groudon. Stop that Fake Out. Stop that damage. Make sure Tapu Fini in the vicinity. Earth Power into the Tapu Fini slot. Probably predicting an Incineroar switch in. Pretty good read there, but, you know, Sefranek a little smarter than that. Threw in the Tapu Fini to take around 50% from the combined attacks instead. Really nice call on the Protect there by Nails, but unfortunately couldn't capitalize on the switch in. So, Groudon here, if it's faster than the Heatran, is definitely poised to take a double down, barring any misses. Tapu Fini, though, if it has Heal Pulse, will definitely use it right here. I assume the Tapu Fini is trained to be faster than the Groudon. That's just my assumption, but maybe he doesn't want to risk that, and switches back into Cherem, giving it that special defense boost, giving it that attack boost, and, you know, giving us some smiles for today. Yeah. Look at him, he's so happy. Heat Wave gonna come out and connect. Let's see how much damage this does. Not enough, but it is enough to take out Cherem. So no more Flower Gift for Groudon, but it's still a +1 attack. If it misses at all, alright, no misses. So I think this is curtains for Nails game 1. So Sefranek gonna take that pretty convincingly. The Cherem special defense and attack boost coming in very, very handy for handling that Venusaur Groudon lead on Nails' side. So let's see if Nails can kind of readjust for that. Very smart on Sefranek's end, but he did only bring one offensive Pokemon out of his, I suppose, 3 or so. So a little bit on the risky side, putting all his eggs into one basket, that Groudon, but it paid off for Game 1. Let's see if he can pull it off for Game 2. As for Nails, he might have to think a little harder about how he places his Pokemon. Maybe want to bring that Xerneas next time. Definitely could have helped him in this matchup. But maybe really scared of that Stack Attacka. Not particularly fond of taking boosted Precipice Blades either. So, I mean, it's pretty risky to bring the Xerneas, especially when you've got Stack Attacka, Groudon, Tapu Fini, and this Cherrim, who's stopping most of your damage output, even when you're boosted. So, definitely a hard Cherrim matchup, I suppose, which is why he brought all his fire types, which ended up helping, but it's not going to help you if you can't KO the Groudon, which is the real threat. Alright, clock ticking down here. I think one of the Knicks is taking a really long time to think about what they're doing before they go in. Maybe just letting the timer run all the way down. And they're locked in and ready to go. Alright, so Game 2 of Top 8. The Nick matchup, double Nick. Nails versus Sefranek. Alright. And we see from Nails, he's going to lead himself and Venusaur. So that's going to be a pretty interesting lead this time. From Sefranek, the same lead before Incineroar, Groudon. So Sun already up. I think definitely looking for a bit more damage mitigation with that Clefairy on his side of the field. Also going to help him redirect attacks that he doesn't want to take from Sefranek's side. Of course, not super helpful when you've got Groudon on the opposing side, and Groudon can definitely do some more damage with the Precipice Blades there. So we'll see how Nails handles this turn of events. Sleep Powder still not really a safe option here. Definitely could have Tapu Fini in the back, and I don't know if Sefranek is comfortable enough to go for the Swords Dance. He might know that Clefairy learns this neat move called Encore, and it locks Groudon into whatever he chooses to use. And definitely looking for that Swords Dance Encore lock, or maybe looking to Encore the Fake Out onto Incineroar, but it switch out from Venusaur into Nails' own Groudon, so definitely looking to protect Groudon a little bit. Groudon also going to switch out on Sefranek's side, going to go into that Tapu Fini, doesn't want to get put to sleep, and that means Incineroar and Clefairy are going to have a toe-to-toe battle right now. And Clefairy is going to have to eat this Flare Blitz. Nope, actually Groudon will have to eat the Flare Blitz, and easily done with the help of Friend Guard. Encore going to fail, looking for that Swords Dance, fishing for it, but not getting it. So that was pretty unfortunate, but not much Clefairy was doing there anyway, so, pretty good use of a turn, I would say. Keep Clefairy on the field for the Friend Guard, make sure it's not dead weight while it's doing it. So the presence of Encore there was just enough to make Sefranek switch out the Groudon. But now, Groudon is in for Nails, and that could be pretty big since it's not intimidated or anything, can do a lot of damage. Helping Hand, always an option on Clefairy as well, so this could be some pretty big damage exchange right here on this turn. And Precipice Blades coming out, connecting with both of its targets. So say goodbye to the Incineroar, and takes a lot of damage off of that Tapu Fini. So here is Tapu Fini's move. It's going to be that Nature's Madness. So here it comes into that Clefairy. Big damage. Going to ignore those defenses. Heal Pulse though coming out. Really strong choice of moves. and that's going to heal Groudon almost up to full. So Life Orb gonna kind of run through this team on Sefranek's side if he doesn't go ahead and try something. Here comes Groudon one more time, returning to the field. Gonna have to make a lot of big plays in order to get back into this game, and it's not looking great considering he's not at any kinds of attack increase stages, and you know he's gonna need a Swords Dance if he wants to try and bring it back, but maybe he can just get swaggered instead by that lovely Tapu Fini sitting next to him. Of course, that Tapu Fini will have to dodge press his blades in order to do so, so that's not even that safe either. We'll see what happens depending on what Nails does here. Alright, so Sefranek's actually going to switch out that Tapu Fini, going to go into Cherrim, and Cherrim going to show its beautiful face one more time to us. Very smiley, happy friend. And Press Blade's gonna come out not inhibited by anything since Cherrim does not handle the defense side of things, and lose a little bit of HP there as Press Blades from Groudon on Sefranek's side also gonna come out, pick up the knockout on Clefairy. Big deal there. No more Friend Guard, no more Encore, no more nothing. As you know, Nails gets another switch in. It's probably gonna be that Venusaur. But we'll see. He might choose to send in maybe an Incineroar or Xerneas as well. Those are both good options to send in as two. Alright, looks like Navarre is taking a very long time to think about what to switch in here. He's weighing his options right now. Venusaur could exert a lot of offensive pressure, but you know, whatever else he's got in the back could offer even better pressure in the long run. So it looks like Nails has decided to go with Xerneas. So Xerneas is his fourth Pokemon. No Incineroar here, so that means no way to really mitigate the Groudon on the opposing side, which could be a problem. Seeing as I'm pretty sure it's outside of the range of both of the attacks of Nails' Pokemon, and that means one big helping hand, Press Blades, coming out to help take on these two restricted Pokemon on Nails' side of the field. And I think that's exactly what we'll see, to be honest, unless I see like a Grass Knot maybe, but I don't see that happening. Cherrim is not the strongest offensively, but its support options are very, very valuable. Alright, Cherrim actually going to pull out. Just going to switch back into that Tapu Fini, so maybe trying to go for a... not actually that sure what he's trying to go for here. I think... okay, Dazzling Gleam going to come out here. Definitely a smart play. Can definitely... oh, okay. Alright, so Sefranek takes the berry. Not sure how much that will help, since I'm pretty sure the Press Blades will take the knockout either way. Oh, but it's actually going to be the Fire Punch. Yeah, so Tapu Fini is actually going to be able to stay around here and do some of its Fini things. But Groudon not being protected by Flower Gift anymore could make a big deal of a difference. Very interesting that Nails chose to Fire Punch that turn instead of go for a Press Blades, but it is safe, it doesn't miss, and you know, assuming that Sefranek's Groudon doesn't get knocked into the berry zone by Xerneas, could be a pretty good trade there. But now you gotta think about whether he'll switch back into Cherrim or whether he'll not. Here's the Dazzling Gleam. It's gonna do a number. It's not enough for the berry range, so here's the Fire Punch. It is going to be enough to take out Groudon, so this has now turned into a good old-fashioned fist fight, and you know, a fist fight with big Dragon Claws, and I think Sefranek will have to concede this one to Nails. Nails adjusted pretty well here, bringing the Clefairy to help mitigate damage, heal pulse, Friend Guard and all, and you know, no more sun means Cherrim is a sad, sad boy, hiding in its little flowery shell, and you know, an unhappy Cherrim is an unhappy trainer. So now we're back at 1-1, game 3 of the exciting set. Let's see if Charum can bring it back for another big win, or if Clefairy can overpower it in terms of cuteness. It's a battle of the cuties. Fairy Charum, partnered with their wonderful Groudon sidekick and Xerneas Yveltal cohort, maybe? Other sidekick. Alright, and the matchup is still the same as ever. I think Sefranek definitely had some counterplay options there, but just didn't have any of them available at that time. So we can see if they'll make some more adjustments to kind of take advantage of this Sun turns and bulk up the Groudon a little more. Maybe not throw away Incineroar that easily next time. But we'll see. It could be possible for either player to come out on top and move on to top 4. And I think these players have played quite a bit at locals. They go to pretty much all the same locals. They go to my locals. I go to their locals. We're all locals here. So whoever wins, it's all good fun, I think, and CP. So no one will hold a grudge over it. It's kind of the way it goes, and I think both are taking their time carefully here to think about who's coming to the battle and who's being benched. Sefranek may not want to start putting all the eggs in his one basket because it worked that one time, but it may not work another time. Maybe want to bring that Yveltal or Stack Attacker to help do some damage. And I would say out of the two, Yveltal definitely more helpful. Can definitely put a damper on Groudon's day, as well as Venusaur's if it gets the Tailwind up. Snarl is definitely a force to be reckoned with if you are Xerneas or Heatran. So we're going to get into Game 3 of Top 8, and we'll see how each player handles this last game. Okay, Nails is going to go ahead and lead Venusaur and Incineroar, changing up one more time. And Sefranek is actually going to lead Tapu Fini and Groudon, so not going to lead the Incineroar this time, just going to throw out Tapu Fini. Make sure sleep is not an option on Nails' side of the board, and, you know, kind of just be there to start doing damage soon. And it is in a pretty good spot. It's double weak to both the Venusaur's stab attacks, but I think it can definitely take them and then throw out a support move the following turn. Fake Out is on the table, but honestly, it's probably not doing a whole lot. At best, it's stopping a setup move on Tapu Fini or stopping Groudon from throwing out an attack. So, it's a pretty difficult call. Honestly, it's going to have to be you pick one of the slots to attack with Venusaur and hope that it doesn't protect. Is the option here. And I'm not sure that Tapu Fini can actually protect. We've seen Swagger. Alright, locked in here. Here comes the switch from Tapu Fini, probably into Sefranek's own Incineroar here. Yep, that's going to be an Incineroar switch in. And Intimidate going on to Nails' cat. And Protect from Groudon. So, that's going to be a dead turn on Nails' side, unless he went for a Sludge Bomb, maybe into the Tapu Fini slot. It is going to be that Sludge Bomb into the Tapu Fini slot, so that's going to be a little bit of damage. No poison possibilities, though, so it's just going to be some good damage. Now back in this position, another Fake Out on Sefranek's side, and Swords Dance opportunity for Groudon. It could be pretty important here. Of course, I think Venusaur is definitely looking to protect right here, or switch out one of the two options. And Incineroar over the other side maybe wants to go for a U-turn or just switch out as well. Honestly, there's not much to do here. It's just, can Nails get into a position where he can intercept this Swords Dance Groudon with Charum support in the back, or will he be pierced by the blades of Precipice? I'm not sure that's how that works, actually. I think Precipice is a thing, or something like that. It is going to be that switch in for Clefairy, so gonna mitigate it somehow. Fake Out into Clefairy slot, so Definitely not looking to get grass knotted this turn. And Swords Dance going to come out, put back at +1, and U-turn coming out for Incineroar, making sure that the board position is reset and Nails has the upper hand once more. So here comes the switch in. It could be anything, but I would say it's probably Venusaur. Well, no, it's actually going to be that Groudon. So Groudon going to come in and start doing some damage. Big damage. I'm not sure if Groudon on Sefranek's side is within this Precipice Blade range. Probably not. It's very full and healthy. And, you know, Sefranek can always switch into Cherrim to get that Flower Gift. Throw out a big Precipice Blades. Not sure if it's enough to take out the other Groudon in one hit, but definitely will do a big number. So we're going to see how Sefranek reacts to this change of pace. Alright, Incineroar gonna go out for Tapu Fini here, so no Cherrim yet, just gonna put in here. Not even going to really do much. Switch out for Clefairy, gonna go back into that Incineroar, so getting the Intimidate, gonna knock Groudon back to +0, neutral stages of attack, as Groudon on the opposing side, Sefranek's side, goes ahead and protects, doesn't want to take damage this turn, of course, and on Nails' side, Precipice Blades, full powered, coming out. Alright, so that did about half to the Tapu Fini, and that's kind of bad, all things considered. Of course, there's Fake Out available on Nails' side. This is a +0 Groudon that he's staring down, so it's definitely important for him to keep Incineroar around if he wants to keep it this turn, that he fakes out Groudon. If not, Tapu Fini probably do some work, and maybe not. But here comes Incineroar in for Sefranek's Groudon. Going to sacrifice that Swords Dance, although nothing really was sacrificed there, just a turn. And Intimidate going to drop the attack of both of Nails' Pokemon, possibly letting Tapu Fini survive a turn of the Precipice Blades that's about to come out here. As Precipice Blades does come out here and does target both Pokemon, does connect on both Pokemon, does pick up the knockout on both Pokemon. So, unfortunate there. It's probably a roll, and I think that's what Sefranek was going for, but it just didn't happen that way in the end. So, back against the wall now. He has only Groudon and his 4th Pokemon left versus the rest of Nails' team, which does not have Xerneas, but does have that Venusaur. So, this could get bad pretty quick. Here's that last Pokemon. It's that Cherrim. So, Cherrim is here. Cherrim's ready. Cherrim's dancing. But can Cherrim be a good enough cheerleader for Groudon to sweep the rest of Nails' team? That is a good question. That is a question I look forward to answering in about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. Okay. So, alright, Incineroar going to come back out. Going to swap in for that Clefairy. Make sure Groudon on Nails' side stays alive here. Helping hand from Cherrim. Going to go into that Groudon as Groudon on Nails' side goes for the Fire Punch into Groudon on the opposing side. Does a bit of damage, but not too much as Precipice Blades misses Clefairy, but I guess that wasn't really the big threat here. Precipice Blades is going to do a lot of damage, but not quite enough as Sun goes away. So Flower Gift no longer on the table, neither is Chlorophyll, but this Groudon on Sefranek's side seems to be a bit on the slow side, so, you know, I think Sefranek is going to have to work really hard, maybe dodge a couple of moves on Nails' end, but definitely, he's going to have to think about how he's dealing with Venusaur when it comes back in, because as it stands, there's not much he's going to be able to do to that, assuming that it is very speedy, so this seems to be pretty tough. He needed that Tapu Fini to kind of survive that turn so we could do something later in the game. Maybe do some Heal Pulse or Swagger, but instead you're just stuck out of Sun, out of Misty Terrain with this Groudon next to Cherrim. but Cherem isn't really doing anything other than taking up space. So I think it's not the greatest positions here. Fire Punch really not doing a whole lot now, as you know, Clefairy avoids another Precious Blades. Again, not terribly important, but definitely would have been helpful to get rid of it. As Sunny Day comes out from Cherem, so Sun is put back up. That means Flower Gift is once again on the table. And gonna put out that smiling face one more time. Here's the Encore, so gonna Encore Groudon. Would have liked to see that Encore into Cherem, but, you know, sometimes you just gotta go for the Encore just in case Sefranek tries to go for Swords Dance to get back in the game. So here is the Venusaur switch in, and that could be trouble. Assuming it still has the Sash intact, and Groudon is such low health, I'm not entirely sure it can survive this hit. We do know, however, that I think the Clefairy does not have Helping Hand. Heal Pulse, Encore, Follow Me, Protect probably is the set. So, you know, nothing doing here. He's just going to Follow Me, and that's going to be really unfortunate for when Sefranek tries to whip out maybe a Heal Pulse of his own. Grass Knot going to do enough to knock out Groudon, so didn't even really need to think too hard about that one. Heal Pulse is going to be redirected into that Clefairy, so Clefairy at full health, and, you know, only one Pokemon left on the field, which is Cherem, and it's super happy, but, you know, being optimistic all the time, not going to translate to a win. So I think Nails, Nick Navarre, going to take this set, going to move on to top 4. Sefranek played really well in Game 1, but just couldn't pull it out in Game 2 and 3 when he tried to put all his eggs in the same basket one more time. And, you know, sometimes that's how the game rolls. I think I would have loved to see Veltal come out, especially that last game. It would have been really helpful, but good games to both players here, as we'll see Nick in top 4 and other people who have also won their top 8 matches. I think they were the last one. Maybe not. A couple still going on maybe. So we'll be back here with top 4.